Hello, hello. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you guys are having a good day. Um, I'm almost done with school. I only have like a couple weeks left. So this will probably be my last story time video, at least while I'm over here at college. Um, but yeah, if you want to see more of these after I am done with this quarter, then go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And let's just get into this. So, this is the story of my graduation. Not high school, not college, but elementary school graduation. A couple things that we're gonna have to go over is my background when I was in elementary school. So, I think I went to about 4 schools. Let me think. So, kindergarten through second grade, I went to a Christian private school. Then I went homeschool. Then I went to a school for about 3 days, and then I went to this school for fifth and sixth, where I finally graduated. Um, so during the homeschooling process, right? The curriculum was pretty garbage, so I actually fell way behind on my school. And then I went to a public school that wasn't the best also. So, my chance to catch up was pretty not good. And then I went to a preparatory school for fifth and sixth grade, the school I graduated from. And while at this school, you have to test in, and I tested in somehow, but my grade level was way beneath where I needed to be. So for all of fifth grade, I was basically not the dumb kid in class, but basically I was always behind. I had to do a lot of work to catch up. And I did eventually. And basically because of this, a lot of the teachers at the school actually liked me because they saw that I had a high work ethic. And this is all going to come into play with the actual story later on. So they had noticed that I had a high work ethic and stuff like that, and I had, basically went from being at a second grade probably reading level, to about a sixth grade reading level, all within the fifth grade. So I worked pretty hard, that fifth grade year, and also when I first came to the school, at these prep schools, they kind of have this it's not really their fault, but they have this elitist mentality to where if you're, they say, oh, you don't want to go to the regular schools because they're bad, they're always having fights and stuff, and it's not like that. But basically because of this stigma, when I first had showed up there, for whatever reason, kids thought I was like a bully, or like I was gonna steal their lunch money or something. But I'm not like that. So basically when I first showed up to the school, I had a lot of stigma about me that I had to break down, and people sort of came around, But still, after that first fifth grade year, I didn't have too many friends. I would just go to school and come back. I didn't really talk to too many people. I would play sports. The sport that I was good at back then was basketball, and this school, they played soccer. Soccer was a big deal at this school, so I didn't really interact with that many people because I was still playing basketball, and no one really played basketball, right? So where this all changed and where I started to get some kind of attention at the school, by the way, this is a very small school, okay? We're talking about one class per grade, all right? So 5 classrooms, one class per grade, that's it. So there couldn't have been more than 100 kids at the school. It was very tiny, all right? So where this all changed was the 6th grade year, okay? So 6th grade year, there are 2 things that happen simultaneously, okay? One, we have this thing, they give you one of those cheesy cutouts where you have to they take a picture of you and they put you on this thing, and then they ask you all these questionnaires, and you have to write out answers. It's where you're gonna be when you grow up, what do you want to be, where do you think you're gonna be in 5 years, what's your favorite food, stuff like that, stuff you really couldn't care less about answering. One of the things that I answered that was kind of funny, was there was this question that said, what do you like about yourself the most? And I've always had a really interesting sense of humor, so I put down on there how sexy I am, right? And this wouldn't really be that funny if someone else had wrote it, but you got to keep in mind, okay? I would go to school and literally say nothing to nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would just go to school and just be quiet. You know what I'm saying? And then play basketball. So nobody was expecting that, and actually, it kind of blew up around the school. It was really dumb, honestly. Everyone in my class was like talking about it. It was like making jokes about it, like, oh, he thinks he's sexy or whatever, right? And yeah, all the teachers were reading it and stuff, and it got to the point where like I went to go get lunch, right? And then I was getting lunch, and the ladies behind the counter were like, oh, so you think you're sexy, huh? And I'm like, why is everyone reading this stupid little joke I put on the thing, right? So this is one of the things that like people started like paying attention to me after that, and then they're like, oh, this guy's pretty cool, right? And then the other thing that kind of put me in the center of all this all this drama that's about to happen is I got sat next to this girl. Okay, her name was Paulina. Okay, Paulina was she was a cute girl, I guess, for the time. Probably like the cutest girl in the school, because like it was, like I said, a small school, less than 100 kids, and yeah. So I'm sitting next to this girl, and by this point in time, now I'm kind of like the class clownish guy, right? So, I would just sit and hang out with her and her friend. It was like her friend was on my left side, she was on my right, kind of thing. I was in the middle of them, and I would just like try and make them laugh, do dumb stuff in between like doing work in class, right? And then one day, I get introduced to like the group. Okay, this is gonna be the group, the four guys that we're gonna be with, or the four of us. So it's this guy named Hector. He was like the main guy who would like play soccer. He was like one of the best players out there. Hector, Troy, Mike, and I. Okay, so Mike was a short black kid, Troy was a tall white kid, and Hector was a short white kid. So it was literally like two tall white guys and black guys, and then two short white guys and short, I mean, you know what I'm saying, short and black or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, so I get into this group, and they're like, so you like Paulina, right? And I'm like, what am I, 10 years old, 11 years old? And I'm like, not really. Not really. I did really like her, but after they said that, I started to pay attention to her more, and I was like, yeah, she's kind of cute or whatever, right? And then so it didn't really matter though whether or not I liked her. The rumor was already spread. You know how that goes. So basically, everyone was like, oh, Xavion likes Paulina, all this stuff, right? And I didn't really care too much, because what actually ended up happening after they were like, oh, you like her, then it just, everybody liked her actually. They were like, oh, you like Paulina, and then the next day, like Hector was like, yeah, I like Paulina too, and then like Troy was like, I like Paulina, and then Michael was like, man, I've been liking Paulina since day one, say it. So basically, us four, we all liked Paulina, okay? And basically it was kind of weird. It was kind of mature of us actually, but we all decided that we were gonna just be friends, and we were all gonna shoot our shot, and let the best man win, basically. And I kind of respect it. So yeah, that's what's going on for a couple of days. I end up getting her number, Everyone actually ends up getting her number out of the four of us, except for Micah. Micah's out of the game first, okay? So he ends up giving up first. I end up giving up next because I'm like, dude, I'm 10, I'm not about to have a girlfriend or whatever, right? So it's really Hector and Troy who are in the game still, alright? And this is where it gets weird. Okay, so what happens next? So fast forward about 2 weeks, and we have parent-teacher conferences. Okay, so mine goes over well. I have good grades at this time because, like I said, I was working my butt off like 5th grade year, so I was basically chilling. And the teacher liked me, because he had seen how hard I worked in the previous year, and also that year I also scored the highest out of all the kids in the school, actually on my state test scores. So yeah, the teacher was cool with me, he liked me and everything. My mom was cool, she was like, okay, I don't have to worry about him anymore, and everything was cool. But Hector's parent-teacher conference didn't go that well. Because basically he had this loudmouth little brother who just couldn't keep his mouth shut, right? And basically, the parent-teacher conference was set up so that his brother was in the room during his conference, even though, they had set it up so it was the same day. So the mom had to go to the little brother's, then his, so they took the little brother together, right? And the little brother's in there, and basically the little brother tells the teacher, tells the teacher, hey, Hector likes Paulina and all this stuff. And then so Hector just goes off, and then just tells everybody who likes Paulina. He snitches on all of them. He's like, Savion likes Paulina, Mike likes Paulina, Troy likes Paulina, all these other dudes in the class, he just tells everybody. He's like, everybody likes Paulina. And this part isn't too relevant, but I just thought it was funny. After the teacher found out that basically everyone liked Paulina, he sat me next to Paulina relentlessly, for the next, basically for the whole school year. He sat me next to Paulina. Every time we have new shooting charts, I would still be right next to Paulina. And I just thought it was funny. He was, I don't know if he was trying to wingman me or whatever, but shout out to him. Alright, so like I said, I'm out the game. I'm just being friendly with Paulina. I'm not really trying to pursue anything. The two who are Hector and Troy, like I said earlier, and they're a little older. Okay, Paulina, I think she must have been 12 or 13, and then they're also 12 and 13. I'm very young for my age in the grades. I always have been because my birthday's later. So I'm 10. And they're 13, 12, so it's literally a 2-year difference. So they were in a different stage of life, if you know what I'm saying, right? So, Troy is texting Hector. No, I'm saying it backwards. Hector is texting Paulina one day, and basically he was flirting with her hard, right? And, he's like, oh, I want to be with you, blah, 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 blah. Stuff that you have no business saying as an 11, 12, 13-year-old. You know what I'm saying? And then she's like, you're cute or whatever, but I have a boyfriend who's 14, and I love it when he touches me. Okay. That's what she said. She said, I love it when he touches me, right? And also at the same time, Troy actually ends up going on a date with Paulina, alright? So this is where it gets kind of scandalous, right? Because she has a boyfriend and she's texting other dudes. And so one day, I don't know who brought it up, but the subject of Paulina brought up. We were hanging out and we wouldn't talk about how we were trying to hit at Paulina, right? But we would all hang out. We never let it got between us, right? So we're hanging out one day, and Troy lets it slip that he went on a date with her, and then Hector's like, well, wait, she says she has a boyfriend, and he's older, and she likes it when he touches him, right? And bro, Micah hears this and he just gets mad. He just gets mad and he just starts wiling out. We're in the cafeteria. He's saying this stuff hella loud. He's like, "Oh, Paulina ain't nothing but a hoe. You know, she went to university to be a hoe. She's gonna go to, you know, MIH, Massachusetts Institute of Hoeing or something like that." He was just like going off. He was just like, "Man, she ain't nothing but a hoe, man. This is, oh my god, bro, I'm done with this trick, right?" Oh man, so he's just going off and like, you know, we're obviously all immature, right? So we're dying laughing. We're just dying laughing, choking on food, all this stuff, man. Like spitting out chocolate milk all over the counter and all that stuff, right? But we ended up going playing soccer like we do every day. We would hang out, we talk, and then we go play soccer for recess every day, you know. And you know, about a week later, no, not a week later. Basically, we're fast forwarding through 6th grade year because this is all that matters throughout 6th grade. I can't remember anything else about 6th grade year besides this whole drama right here. But basically, we're fast forwarding towards the end of 6th grade year, right? And we're about to graduate from elementary school, right? And basically, it's the last 3 days, and Hector and Troy and Mike, they're like, "Oh, you want to do bodies, right?" And what bodies is you go, and it's like a friendly sparring match, but it is fighting. You basically fight, and you try not to hit each other in the face, but you punch them in the body. That's why it's called bodies, right? And they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna go do bodies in the bathroom. Savion, do you want to come?" Because like they wanted to see if I had hands or whatever, right? And I was like, "Nah." I was like, "Nah." Was one other guy there who, usually it's just us four, but this guy named Hermie was there, and he ended up becoming one of my best friends in middle school year. But me and him just looked at each other. We're like, "Hell no, my mama will beat my ass." We said it in unison, like, "No, I'm not gonna go fight do bodies for no. I'm not gonna fight for no reason." You know what I'm saying? I wasn't really worried about getting beat up or anything. I was just worried about getting in trouble with my mom, like really. So, they go do that in the bathroom, right? And I think Mike lost, and then I think Troy was the victorious one, the tall one. I mean, go figure, right? So they go do that, and then when recess ends, they're like, "Everybody stop." Like, usually they line us up before we go inside, right? But today they're like, "Everybody stop. I need Hector, Troy, Savion." They just start calling all of us out, and we're like, "Yo, what's going on?" Right? And so basically they call me up, into the office. The principal's there, and the 6th grade teacher's there, our teacher. And he's basically, I'm like, "Yo, I didn't do nothing," before anything. I'm like, "I didn't do nothing." He's like, No, you're good. We know you didn't do anything. We need you to confirm something. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "Oh, okay, whatever." And basically, they were just like, "Hey, it's a yes or no question. That's all we're gonna ask. All right? Did Micah say Paulina's a hoe and all this other stuff, right?" And I was like, and they were quoting exactly what he said. So I was like, man, he's already caught up. So I was like, yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, they already know exactly what he said. They're quoting word for word, right? So I was like, yeah, he said that. And then they were like, "All right, that's all we need from you. You can go back outside," right? And I go back outside, and then my 5th grade teacher's there, the one who I was with last year, and she's like, "I know you weren't saying the stuff, you know what I'm saying, but you should really have not been laughing about that, that's really, the bullying is not okay, even if you're not the one doing it," and all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, and stuff. I basically had to take the L on the chin, but basically, Micah was getting caught up for what he said, okay? This is the dumb part, okay? So while we're outside, all right, and I'm talking to the 5th grade teacher, this not punk, okay, I hope he's not watching this, but this little, I don't man, I'm trying not to curse. But this kid comes up to the 5th grade teacher while I'm talking to her and says, "Hey, is this about the fact that me, Hector, and Troy were fighting in the bathroom?" And she says this to the 5th grade teacher, and the 5th grade teacher's like, "Yo, okay, you know, well, come to the office now because you're in trouble." So basically, Hector, Troy, and Mike, they all got in trouble. Mike got double in trouble because he was calling people hoes, and he was fighting, and then the other two just got in trouble for the fighting. So they all got like not an expulsion, because it was literally the last 2 days of school before we graduated. So they're like, okay, just don't come to school for the rest of the year. Just don't come to school for these last 2 days. And yeah, so that's how that part of the story ended. They all got in trouble. I was the only one who didn't get in trouble. We all ended up hanging out, including Paulina. We all ended up hanging out. She invited us all to a party, which I thought was hella weird because, basically she said that she came to me and she was like, yeah, I really didn't, like, that really bugged me, the stuff that he said about me. And I was like crying every day after school, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that, I'm sorry. But she still invited like him and, all of us to the party. I don't know, but the part where this story gets sad is basically we all end up going to the same middle school except for Hector and Micah. Hector and Micah go to different middle schools, and me and Troy go to the same middle school, right? And me, Troy, and Paulina, okay, that's what I mean by that. And Paulina ends up getting pregnant at like 13, like the next year she gets pregnant, and it's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like that was some weird stuff that I didn't really process, but yeah, like the rumor was that she got pregnant by like some 18-year-old dude, and it was just really creepy. It was all like always like put a weird like feeling in my stomach, like golly, like, yeah, I got pregnant by some 18-year-old dude, and he ended up skipping town, and she was only like 13 years old, and it was just like, damn. So what would the moral of this story be? So moral of this story would be like, just be careful, man. Life is a trip. You definitely don't need to rush into anything, especially when it comes to relationships. That stuff will come. Don't rush it. Like I said, we really had no business doing any of this stuff at like 11 to 13. You really have no business doing this stuff. You have no idea what you're really getting into, and how quickly you can just mess up your life, to be honest. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this story. It's kind of like a weird story that I don't know, I think about sometimes. But yeah, like I said, leave a like. I'll be able to stream again soon, so keep an eye out for that. Check out my Twitch if you haven't already. And yeah, hope you have a nice day.